In the words of Kendrick Lamar, I've been going through something. What feels like relentless waves of grief have left me gasping for air, not knowing which way is sky or deeper waters still. As I've been processing, I find myself constructing a mausoleum, not just for discrete external losses, but also more ambiguously for the living, beliefs I held, and even parts of myself. When I'm sad, or feeling any emotion really, my first impulse is, and always has been, to bake. I didn't even realize I had chosen a form of self-therapy as a career until my actual therapist asked me once if there was anything in my life that felt like a grounding and safe space, brought me joy, and would help me self-regulate. And I answered baking and being with my friends or my community. So if you want to process bake with me, or just learn how to make one of my favorite comfort recipes, let's get started. Scale milk, cream, and the first measures of butter and sugar into a heat-proof vessel. Using the stovetop or a microwave, warm this mixture until it reaches 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Meanwhile, scale the bread flour, instant yeast, and first measure of egg whites directly into the bowl of your stand mixer. Once the dairy mix is at the right temp, pour it into your dry ingredients. Sometimes the sugar can settle, so use a spatula to scrape all of it out. With the hook attachment, knead everything together until a smooth dough ball forms. And yes, it would be good to plug in your mixer. I like to set a timer for 4 to 5 minutes and then check from there. While that's mixing, we're going to scale out the rest of our ingredients for the second proof. Combine butter and salt in one container, set that aside, then measure everything else, the milk powder, sugar, instant yeast, and egg white, all together. Once the dough is smooth, take it off the mixer and out of the bowl. Grease the same bowl, then form the dough into a round and return it to its newly oiled home. Cover loosely with plastic wrap or a tea towel and let proof until roughly doubled in size. Once the dough is doubled, punch it down and divide it into chicken nugget-sized pieces. I mean, vaguely speaking. Return those pieces to the bowl and add all the second proof ingredients except for the room temp butter and salt. Still using the dough hook, knead on medium speed for about 5 minutes until the dough is smooth again. Then add the butter and salt and continue mixing for another 10 to 12 minutes on medium speed. At this point, I'll start checking for the window pane stage, which is when you can stretch the dough into a thin but strong film that lets light through before it tears or rips. Add kneading time in 2 to 3 minute increments as necessary until you reach this stage. Then divide your dough into 2 portions and round off each one. Let these rest covered for 10 to 15 minutes. Then roll out each dough ball into an oval. Fold the sides into the middle to form a sort of oblong before rolling that shape out into a rectangle. The width of this rectangle should not exceed the width of your loaf pan, so I always just do a quick check with the actual pan that I'm using. Roll this rectangle up and pinch the seam together. Repeat this process with your second round of dough. Place both rolls, seam side down, in a greased pan as evenly spaced out as possible. Cover again with plastic wrap, but grease either the wrap or the top of your loaf to prevent any sticking. During colder months, I like to proof in my oven by leaving a pot or pan of boiling water inside for about 10 minutes before putting my loaf in. When your loaf is close to being ready to bake, preheat your oven to 365 degrees Fahrenheit. And brush the top if desired with egg wash, milk, or melted butter. I was going for minimal effort here and had extra cream to use up, so I just thinned out cream with a little bit of water. No biggie if there are any air bubbles, just pop or snip them gently. Bake for 20 minutes, rotating the pan around the 15-minute mark. After the initial 20 minutes, I cover the top of my loaf with foil and bake for another 10 minutes. Remove from the oven and let cool for a few minutes on a wire rack before releasing it from the tin. Milk bread is so comforting to me, partly because it's one of my oldest and most frequently made recipes. As I was growing up and just starting to develop my passion for baking, I would often look for new recipes to try out and learn. But milk bread was one of the few repeat items that was constantly on rotation because it was my mom's favorite to eat. Not only has it traveled through time with me, but also across oceans to Hong Kong, where my team and I made this recipe almost every day to serve as buttered and toasted bookends for Wagyu. Memories of having fun with my team or being in a city that I love and call home always make me smile, and these formative associations, both personally and professionally, are what make milk bread feel like a warm bear hug to my heart. As for how I like to eat it, I personally love to use this bread, well, any bread really, as a delivery system for almond butter and honey. I don't think I've ever met a spread, especially a confectionery one, that I didn't like. Though this bread does have a hint of sweetness and is honestly so delicious on its own that it's sure to please whether you're a fellow condiment lover or a toast purist. Any which way you slice and choose to enjoy it, I hope you love it as much as I do. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you're doing okay. And if you're not, that's okay too. Just as a reminder, many processes in life, including healing, are often not linear. Be gentle with yourself, mindfully practice self-compassion, and don't forget to extend yourself and others grace. Until next time, much love and pastries.